According to a source, it seems that Malik Obama is the former president of the USA, Barack Obama's half-brother, and it seems that Barack Obama's half-brother is or may be Muslim. Barack Obama's half-brother on his father's side, whose full name is Abango Malik Obama, seems to be, according to a source, in the spotlight after declaring he will vote for Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump in the November 5th elections. However, this was not the first time he extended support to Trump. He backed the former U.S. president in 2016 as well, saying he supported Trump's policies, especially his focus on security. Abango Malik Obama was born in Kenya and is the son of economist Barack Obama Sr. and his first wife, Azia Obama, whom you see in this particular younger photo of them all together. The Kenyan American businessman and philanthropist is a U.S. citizen. It seems that Malik tried to run for governor in Kenya's Siaya district, where his father hailed from. However, he only managed to get 1% of the vote. It also seems that Malik is currently still a registered voter in the USA. It seems that Malik's relationship with his half-brother Barack Obama has witnessed several ups and downs. Now, why would Malik share a fake image of a birth certificate dated from before the 1964 establishment of the Republic of Kenya? It purportedly, allegedly, showed Barack Obama was born outside the U.S. Why would Malik share something like that, regardless if it is someone that he knows? It seemed that Malik also had slammed a colorful ray to picture and to say like that he had ended a telephone call forcefully. Perhaps picture that he had slammed the telephone down on Hillary Clinton, the 2016 Democratic nominee, for his exit from the party, the Democratic Party. Well, something seriously seems to have been going on between both Malik and his half-brother, the former president of the USA, Barack Obama. According to another source. But first, what are philanthropic causes? Philanthropic causes surround a wide range of areas where individuals or organizations donate resources to address societal relating to society or for social relations kind of needs and promote positive change. These causes can include education, health care, poverty alleviation. Poverty actions or processes to make suffering, deficiency, or a problem less severe. Environmental protection, animal welfare, and many others. Charities and philanthropists often focus on specific causes to maximize their impact and address critical issues facing communities worldwide. Why am I talking about philanthropists right now? Quote from source: in 2010, Bill, Melinda French Gates, and Warren Buffett founded the Giving Pledge, an effort to encourage the world's wealthiest families and individuals to publicly commit more than half of their wealth to philanthropic causes and charitable organizations during their lifetime or in their will. Bill grew up in Seattle with two sisters. His late father, William H. Gates Sr., was an attorney and civic leader who served as a co-chair of the foundation from 2000 to 2020. His late mother, Mary Gates, was a school teacher, University of Washington Regent, and chair of United Way International. Bill has 3 children and 1 grandchild. People are saying things about Bill Gates today that I am not liking the sound of, that now makes me to must ask. Mr. Bill Gates, are you doing anything or is currently involved with anything or anyone that may now be making you to even if it's just to appear to be looking as being very, 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 very bad person today as of June 2025 or not? According to a source that was last updated on June 17, 2025 at 8:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from CBS News, R. Kelly was hospitalized for an overdose after prison staff gave him an amount of medicine that could have terminated the life of him and was later forcibly removed from a hospital against medical advice, his lawyer alleged in a statement to CBS News and a federal court filing. When asked for a comment Tuesday, June 17, 2025, about the allegations, a spokesperson for the Bureau of Prisons told CBS News, "For privacy, safety, and security reasons, we do not discuss the conditions of confinement for any incarcerated individual, including medical and health-related issues." The Bureau also said it does not comment on pending litigation or legal proceedings. Duke University, where Kelly was taken, postponed delayed comment to the Bureau of Prisons. Kelly was moved to solitary confinement earlier in June 2025, according to the motion filed Monday, June 16, 2025. He had his medication for anxiety to help him sleep with him and has shown that to prison staff, Brindley said. But on Thursday evening, the Thursday before Monday, June 16, 2025, prison personnel provided him with additional medication and instructions to take it, Brindley alleges. Kelly took the medication, and the next morning he felt faint and dizzy. He started to see black spots in his vision. Mr. Kelly tried to get up, but fell to the ground. He crawled to the door of the cell and lost consciousness, according to Brindley's motion. Kelly was taken to a hospital where he was told he was given an overdose quantity of his medications, Brindley said. Additionally, at the hospital, Kelly showed doctors his swollen leg, which Brindley said he had been seeking medical attention for because he has a history of blood clots. Prison medical staff had allegedly taken him off blood thinners. A scan at the hospital revealed blood clots in his right leg, blood clots in his left leg, and blood clots in his lungs, Brindley said. Kelly was told he would need to stay at the hospital for 7 days and was scheduled for a surgery for the clots, according to the motion. However, officers then came into his hospital room and removed Mr. Kelly. He was taken from the hospital against his will and against the directives of the doctors. Brindley said, Mr. Kelly's life is in jeopardy right now because the Bureau of Prisons denied him necessary surgery to clear clots from his lungs. He could die from this condition, and they are letting it happen. This is not the first time Kelly's attorney has sought to move him from federal custody over alleged threats to his life. Earlier in June 2025, Brindley claimed prison officials recruited a white supremacist to terminate the life of Kelly. Kelly was convicted of racketeering and sex trafficking in New York in 2021 and of child pornography in Chicago a year later. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison in the New York case and 20 years in prison in the Chicago case, which he is serving mostly simultaneously. The jail should be listening to the doctors. If Mr. R. Kelly's doctors are saying that he needs to still be at the hospital for however much longer that they say, even if they have to move him into a hospital that is okay for prisoners to be in for their own safety. And with all that they can do with video calls and Zoom and such, then why, if they find that Mr. R. Kelly's doctors truly say that he needs to still be in hospital care at the hospital, then why remove Mr. R. Kelly ahead of schedule? Now, as for him being able to go home or not during this time, I can understand if they don't want to release Mr. R. Kelly to be at home during this time, but he needs to be at the hospital for however longer that his doctor says so far before going back into his cell. Then I don't see a problem here with this one. If anyone, not just Mr. R. Kelly, but if anyone were to be wheresoever in the USA need to go into the hospital for something serious, and if their doctor says that they need to be in their care for however amount of time longer, especially if the someone is now serving their sentence in jail prison, then why can't the jail people allow for the one whom is now serving their sentence in jail prison be able to get the full treatment of care that their doctor says for them to do? And secondly, how, or more rather, why would someone at a jail prison whom is supposed to be responsible to make sure that they do their own job carefully, properly, and decently give someone either the wrong medicine for them to take, the wrong amount of medicine, or give the person more than one dosage too soon, too fast, too quickly? Well, I thought that they were more responsible in the jail than this all today, as of June 2025. If so. Now, according to another source that was last updated on June 17, 2025 at 2:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from USA Today, R. Kelly's attorneys have filed an emergency motion requesting his immediate release over claims that officials asked a federal inmate to terminate R. Kelly's life in prison. The filing includes a sworn statement from Michael Glenn, Stein, a predicted to lead to death, incurably ill Aryan Brotherhood member, claiming officials offered him freedom from terminating the life of Kelly. Stein alleges he was told that Kelly and his attorneys were planning to expose damaging information, prompting officials to organize the murder plot. He claims that officials told him he would be charged for the unlawful, premeditated terminating of the human being by another, but evidence would be exploited, taken advantage of, evidence would be manipulated, and there would be no conviction, making sure his protection. Stein decided against the unlawful, premeditated terminating of one human being by another, and told Kelly that prison officials had directed him to carry it out. Kelly's team alleges that another Brotherhood member was also directed to terminate the life of both Stein and Kelly. Kelly's attorney, Bo B. Brindley, is requesting an immediate release to home detention, mentioning the continuing, still in progress threat to Mr. Kelly's life. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago politely refused to comment on the allegations when contacted by Variety. Kelly is serving a 30-year sentence for racketeering and sex crimes, with another 20-year sentence mostly served concurrently. Define racketeering. Quote from source. Racketeering generally refers to a pattern of illegal activities often carried out by organized groups for the purpose of financial gain. It involves a range of criminal acts, including extortion, fraud, bribery, and threats, all working together to establish a profitable enterprise. Essentially, it's the business of running illegal operations for profit. More quote from source. Lawyers for R. Kelly are alleging the singer overdosed last week on medication given to him by prison staff. The Ignition Singers legal team, in a June 17, 2025 filing obtained by USA Today, claims that after being placed in solitary confinement, prison staff provided him an overdose quantity of medication on June 12, 2025, compared to his normal anxiety and sleep medication dosages, leading to his hospitalization Friday, June 13, 2025. According to the filing, Kelly was forcibly removed from Duke University Hospital in Durham, North Carolina, against medical advice. The Bureau of Prisons politely refused to comment on the awaiting decision or settlement for the legal action. Born Robert Kelly, the 58-year-old singer has been serving a 30-year sentence for racketeering and sex trafficking since 2022. He is serving his sentence in the Federal Correctional Institute facility in Butner, North Carolina. 1. Kelly pleaded not guilty during a court hearing at Layton Criminal Court Building on June 6, 2019. June 6, 2019. 2. On May 30th, 2019, R. Kelly, seen here leaving court in March 2019, was charged with 11 new counts of criminal sexual abuse that brought the total number of charges against him in Illinois up to 21. 3. R. Kelly arrives at the Circuit Court of Cook County Domestic Relations Division on March 6, 2019, in Chicago. Kelly denied allegations he sexually abused women and girls. "I didn't do this stuff. This not me," Kelly told CBS This Morning, saying he was fighting for his life. 4. In 2019, CBS This Morning co-host Gayle King sat down with Kelly for his first television interview after he was arrested on 10 sexual abuse charges in March of 2019. 5. R. Kelly's booking photo released by the Chicago Police Department shortly after the singer was taken into custody on February 22, 2019. 6. R. Kelly surrenders to authorities at Chicago 1st District Police Station on February 22, 2019. The R&B star was taken into custody hours after authorities announced multiple charges of aggravated sexual abuse involving 4 victims, including at least 3 between the ages of 13 and 17. Seven. Before the Lifetime documentary Surviving R. Kelly, the singer's career was in full swing, and allegations against him did not affect his life or career. The Buffett Tour in 2016 was Kelly's 11th. He brought that tour to Chicago in 2016. Kelly performed at Barclays Center in New York City on September 25, 2015. At the 56th Annual Grammy Awards pre-Grammy Gala and Salute to Industry Icons honoring Lucian Grange in 2014, Kelly was one of the performers. He performed a medley including When a Woman's Fed Up, Bump and Grind, and I Wish at the 2013 BET Awards. R. Kelly performed at the 2013 BET Experience at Staples Center on June 30, 2013 in Los Angeles, California. Quote from source: R. Kelly was found guilty of child pornography, child enticement, racketeering, and sex trafficking following Chicago and New York City trials. The lawyers say leading up to the alleged overdose, Kelly was placed in a solitary confinement on June 10, 2025, against his will. Shortly after, his team filed an emergency motion for his release from prison last week, meaning prior to the week of Thursday, June 19, 2025. In that motion, Kelly's team claimed 3 Bureau of Prisons officials allegedly devised, planned, thought up a plot to have R. Kelly's life become terminated by another inmate. Then, In the early morning hours of June 13th, 2025, according to the filing, Kelly woke up feeling faint and dizzy. He started to see black spots in his vision. Mr. Kelly tried to get up, but fell to the ground. The updated motion stated he crawled to the door of the cell and lost consciousness. He lost his awareness. On-site prison medical staff could not help him, so he was transported to Duke University Hospital by ambulance. The filing continued. He was hospitalized for 2 days. Kelly's team was only able to speak to him late June 16, 2025, after a previous call was canceled without explanation, they wrote. Could it have been due to something similar as how they had said about for when you call in at the Social Security office in the USA? So therefore, was the previous call canceled because they're working on things? Or did someone end the call? More quote from source. In a June 17th statement, Bo Brindley, Kelly's lawyer, reiterated the seriousness of the team's claims. For those who responded with skepticism about whether Bureau of Prisons officers would really engage in a plot to terminate the life of R. Kelly, those prison officials have now removed all doubt. He said, they want R. Kelly dead before the crimes committed against him in his cases are exposed. The lawyer, who has already made a plea to President Donald Trump to excuse the singer, made clear the need for this form of justice. He continued, it is this immediate and impending, forthcoming, about to happen threat that moves with pressure from us again to seek the intervention, the involvement, interceding of President Trump. The courts do not move as quickly as the efforts to terminate the life of this man. President Trump may be the only person who can save the life of R. Kelly. More quote from source. The filing also claimed that Kelly was removed from Duke University Hospital against medical advice as he was set to receive surgery on an ongoing blood clot issue. The motion stated the hospital would need to keep him for 2 weeks for the surgery. Officers assigned to Kelly then contacted FCI Butner officials. Within an hour, officers with firearms came into his hospital room and removed the R&B singer to return him to solitary confinement, the filing said. His life is in jeopardy right now because the Bureau of Prisons denied him necessary surgery to clear clots from his lungs, the lawyers wrote. He could die from this condition, and they are letting it happen. In the government's response to Kelly's emergency motions, federal prosecutors have called his claims fanciful, of a person or their thoughts and ideas, over imaginative and unrealistic, not truthful, not true to life, and theatrical, exaggerated and excessively dramatic, as though that this all was acting by actors or something being staged for the theater. Define over-imaginative. Quote from a source. Over-imaginative means excessively or overly imaginative, often to the point where one's imagination strays into the realm of fantasy or unrealistic scenarios. It can describe someone who imagines things that are not real or likely to happen. In essence, it suggests a degree of imagination that goes beyond what is considered normal or practical. Now, why would they say that R. Kelly's claims are both fanciful and theatrical, or over imaginative, or unrealistic, not truthful, not true to life? What are they seeing now about R. Kelly's claims to make them doubt R. Kelly's claims as being any truth? More quote from source. In addition to organizing and planning issues with the motions, including being filed at the wrong court and location, using the wrong kind of case, and not following proper procedure, federal prosecutors said Kelly's motion makes a absurd misrepresentation or imitation of the harm suffered by Kelly's victims, and they accused him of being a master manipulator. Why wasn't he going to wherever he was supposed to go at for cases? Interesting. More quote from source. If Kelly were to be released from prison to home confinement despite separate 30-year and 20-year sentences handed down by New York City and Chicago courts, every convicted murderer, violators for sexual kinds of pleasure, and assassins and avengers will have a recently, not long ago discovered or established shot at freedom. The response continued. So obviously, and for very understandable kinds of reasons, they will not be able to let Mr. R. Kelly be released to go back home until he is done serving his sentence, as of now until further notice. But however, does this mean that if the doctor says that Mr. R. Kelly needs to be hospitalized for about 2 weeks before going back to the jail for a surgery to be able to get done, does this mean that the jail can just come in and just go against the doctor's instructions? And by the way, I'm sure that they have their ways to be able to go in and make sure that the doctor had actually said to do such thing, okay? And if not, then I advise now that they should have way to make sure, especially for cases like this, as how source is saying about someone that may be known to be manipulating. You must be able and willing to check things out on people that are now even just appearing to be as manipulators, because them manipulators can often be some very, 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 very sneaky kinds of peoples, regardless of what's their tongue, country, nation, area, hue, or background past. More quote from source. Kelly is serving his sentence in North Carolina after his 2021 and 2022 convictions for racketeering, sex trafficking, child pornography, and of using things to attract or to tempt someone. Guilty of using things as a lure. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison in a New York City federal court in 2022 and 20 years in a Chicago federal court in 2023 to be served at the same time simultaneously. 1 year from the last final sentence is set to be served one after another without interruption. So I understand why they're being so strict with Mr. R. Kelly, but if Mr. R. Kelly's doctor after that they finds out and truly sees that it's truth to be so, because there must be details up in there somewhere for a source to say that they're taking his claims to be as not true or unrealistic, and then mentions about how R. Kelly has been known to manipulate things. And there's obvious, clear, good reasons why Mr. R. Kelly cannot be released to go home during this time. It's also likely too early for his sentence for them to determine if he can do that one or not, I imagine. So therefore, I'm focusing my energy on, after looking at everything from source very carefully, why can't they, now that they know who they are dealing with, for someone like Mr. R. Kelly case, why can't they be more watchful? Colossians chapter 4 verse 2, to be more sure to give verifications for everything, including the doctor's instructions for Mr. R. Kelly. But this all also now makes me to think of something else. Is the prison that Mr. R. Kelly is currently in able to provide good transport and security for Mr. R. Kelly while he is in the hospital? Because if not, then this may be why, unfortunately, that they had to transport him back to the jail prison where they can supervise things more better. And it seems that Biden had implemented several changes regarding policies related to jails and prisons in the United States, primarily focusing on the federal system. This makes me ponder to now must ask, who is handling the complaints from incarcerated individuals and staff within the jails and prisons of the USA as of June 2025? And now define maladministration, inefficient or dishonest administration, mismanagement. And define mismanagement, the process of managing something badly or wrongly. And define managing, having executive or supervisory control or authority. Bottom line, so who has control over who is managing things in the jail or prison where Mr. R. Kelly is currently being held? North Carolina, is it? Yes, ask that person, because they should know about how to do something, but must ask them, the whosoever over everything there, to see if they know or not, and wait for their answer, however long that it takes to hear from them. Patiently work your patience for a very good reason right now. James chapter 1 verse 2 through 4. Understand? Peace.